All right, guys, this week we are going to answer the debate. Are the arms more important or is the body more important in the golf swing? So this is a question I get all the time. What drives the golf swing? Is it your arms or is it your body? Now, there's a lot of different opinions on what the most important thing is when it comes to golf swing. A lot of people question whether you're pulling your arms down or pushing your arms out. This week I want to kind of delve into the differences between the two, see how it's going to help you as a player, and really figure out what makes sense for your golf swing. If you're enjoying these videos, guys, please do me a favor. Please hit the like button, put a comment down. If you have a question about your golf swing, I will gladly shoot a video tailored for you, helping you play better golf. And please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Every subscriber helps. We're trying to build an awesome community here. I thank you very much for all your support. Now, there is a lot of debate and comment on whether the arms pull down and create the swing, or whether it's your body that pushes your arms out to create the golf swing. I really want to dive in and talk about the differences between the two movement patterns, how they can be done, and what everyone is truly talking about. So the debate is really between camps that say the arms have to pull down in front of the player before the chest really rotates through impact and then you release, and the other camp who says from the top of your backswing, your chest pushes the arms down and you rotate around the corner. Now, I teach players in both methods, and I have had amazing results, sent kids that I taught from a little age off to college with scholarships, doing both matchups. Now, at the current time of my life, I like the rotary movement. I like the big turn in the golf swing out of the body. Now, it doesn't have to be done that way. Either of them will work efficiently to create a good strike and create a good golfer. But understanding the differences between the two is very important. So if you're trying to be a more rotary golfer, or the golfer who pushes their arms instead of feeling like they're pulling the handle down, you need to understand some tilts. So first of all, in your backswing, you need to get your arms close to shoulder plane. If they get too high, then there's going to have to be some pull down on your arms in the downswing in order to get it into a functional position in a functional plane coming down to the golf ball. Now, the first movement for a player who's trying to really use their body is they have to start creating rotation. So when they're at the top of the backswing, the lead hip is going to sit down and start turning back. That is going to create a condition where we're pushing pressure into the lead foot, but we're also starting the rotary motion. So we're starting to uncoil our body. Now, matching up tilts is incredibly important when you're trying to take that downward pull out of play. So if you get up top and you start this motion here, you're gonna feel as though your arms are against your chest, and when the chest sits down with that motion, it's going back into some forward bend. That's going to start pushing the arms down and out towards the golf ball. So your body is what is driving that initial motion to get the club head traveling on a good plane out to the golf ball, not pulling your hands away from your body and down. Push it with your chest. After you get that club moving down, you're gonna feel two crunches here. You're gonna feel like your chest is going this way, but your rib cage is crunching back this way. So you're staying centered over the golf ball when you're making that rotary move. That's gonna get the club in a position where it's coming down without having to put that force from your hand pulling out. Now, after it gets into this position, we're gonna start bringing the lead shoulder up and through impact, which is going to drag the hands more up and left. Now, if everything was done properly, the club should have shallowed behind you and been in a good position where that rotation will whip it around in front of you and return it to the golf ball in a highly functional manner. It's going to allow the hands to get ahead, get good compression, and really put a solid strike on the ball. Now, using the rotational movements are really going to allow you to use the ground to create forces, really keep the hands passive because your big muscles are handling everything. But if you're a player who pulls down, that's okay. Now, when we go up to the top, we want to feel as though the butt of the club is working out towards where the golf ball is. So when we're pulling down, we want to make sure we are not pulling straight this way. If we start putting a force or pulling straight down, the shaft's going to get steep and we're going to require a lot of timing through impact to be able to hit that golf ball. Now, if you go back to the one plane Hardy swing, this is a great example. You're pulling everything out in front of you, but you're turning your chest. So right about this time, the chest is going to be a little bit close to the golf ball, whereas if we were a rotary golfer, it would be parallel. So from here, you're going to feel like you're just releasing your hands through impact. So you've pulled the club down on plane, your body's still releasing and turning, but now we have to get the club head back to the golf ball. And that hand release is what's going to do it. Now, over the years, I have noticed players that have made this method their own don't quite have the distance of the players I teach with rotary swings. You can still hit the ball far enough to be incredibly functional on a golf course and make it and play college golf or even beyond, but it's going to be a little bit more timing through impact. If you're good at doing that, I would never change that in a player. I get players that are throwing hands at the ball all the time, and I don't stop them from doing that if they're highly functional. The more the club wants to move behind my hands in transition, the more I need to rotate my body open. The more it shallows, the more I need to be open into impact in order to deliver the strike. Now, I as a coach really like that open rotary look because it allows players to really utilize the ground. It allows the shaft to really move up and left through impact, which is what we talk about a lot. You hear up and left from a lot of coaches, and shallowing makes it much easier for players to be able to get that position every time. Now, the first major key to being able to shallow the club is creating body stability and balance. When I set up, I want to get into a good position where my pressure's in the balls of my feet. I don't want to be moving to regain balance points in my downswing. The second that starts to happen is the second I start to struggle. Once I get those balance positions, I want to get a big turn with a lot of depth in my backswing. Depth is how far my hands are going to be behind my body. I measure that relative to heel line. I've spoken about that several times. The more depth you get, the more the hands are going to need to work out in the downswing, which will allow the shaft to shallow. So big turn in the backswing with good stability throughout. Make sure when you're turning to the top of your backswing, you're really feeling the pressure load into the inside heel of that trail foot every time, and then you're going to be set up for success if you're trying to get the shaft to move behind you. Now, we're starting the downswing and we're looking for cues to get the shaft to shallow. If we remember, we wanted to load everything up and get a lot of depth. The more depth I have, the more my hands need to work out to get to the golf ball. The more of an outward force I put on the handle, the more the shaft is going to want to tip behind me. Okay? When that's happening, we also have to look at what's occurring with our lead arm. I get a lot of lead arm rotation. The back of my forearm is pointing more up towards the sky in the downswing than it did at the top of my backswing. That's going to get the shaft tipping away in the downswing every time. When that is occurring, I want to get in here and feel like my trail elbow is moving in and underneath my lead elbow. If you can combine all those movements, that is going to get the shaft falling behind the player quite a bit in the downswing and put you into a really good shallow position every time in your downswing and allow the body to start ripping open with a lot of rotation. Now, before we get into rotation, we have to understand while that shaft is shallowing, okay, if I don't get the proper wrist angles, somewhat bowed down or with the really strong grip, then my face is going to get open and I'm not going to be able to keep the rotation going through impact. And if I'm shallow without rotation, then I'm in big trouble. So when we're looking to create that shallowing motion, I need to answer that with rotation. I don't just want to get in here, have the shaft fall behind me, and then try and swing way out to right field for a right-handed golfer. That is a lot of trouble. I want to be in here where my body opening gets the shaft back on plane every time. So if I'm shallowing here and I answer that with rotation, now my club is in a good position. So it looks something like this. Boom. That keeps that shaft in a good movement pattern while I keep my body opening. And once I start getting in here, my body's opening, then I can just launch everything onto my lead side, and I've created a nice, powerful, balanced, passive golf swing that's going to put me in a position to hit the shots that I want to every time. All right, so the first topic we're gonna get into is the old chicken wing. Now, people have been talking about it for a long time, and it bugs a lot of golfers. Now, there's really good golfers out on tour that have that element in their golf swing. Jordan Spieth has that move through impact. It's not the end of the world, depending on what you're matching up to do it. But most amateurs are getting that, and they're not getting any release or power through impact due to the fact that they are trying to hold on to a club face. If I get in here with an open face and I drag that across, that's gonna get my lead elbow in a position where it just pulls up and back. That is the definition of the chicken wing. So for a player to be able to get rid of that, that's a pretty simple fix. First off, you have to get the club face under control. Generally, when you see a player doing that, their hands are going to be inside the club head, so the club head will be outside cutting across, and the face will be open. And then they're just digging and pulling straight across. So we need to get into a position, first off, where that face is more square. Now we can do that. We've got plenty of videos on this, and we'll link one over here, where you get into a position where you either flex out the wrist to get that face more square, or you're strengthening your grip. Both will take care of that face issue. After you get that face more under control, then we need to get the shaft moving more behind our hands when we're coming into the hitting area. I'm gonna link two videos for you guys. I'm gonna give you a great face control video and a shallowing video, which will take care of both of those problems. Once you get all those checkpoints under control, there is no more need for the chicken wing, and we can just get in here and rotate around into a normal position, and you are going to have that nice, pretty follow through that everyone wants to see. All right, so if you struggle with that finished position, you're hanging back on your back foot every time, a lot of that has to do with how a player is moving pressure. Now, pressure starts moving slightly before we even finish our downswing, and understanding where that pressure should move is absolutely critical in getting you into a position where you can finish on your front side every time. So when I start my downswing, most people either think we're gonna push like this or we're just gonna turn around. But the feel is we are going to push down in all of our pressure into the lead foot in transition. So I'm up top. If I push into this lead side, I've now stacked forward, and I can just continue rotating and then get everything on my front side through impact. So it's up, sit down, keep turning, I open my body, then I can now push in to that lead side no problem. Now, another reason that players have trouble moving pressure, if they are reacting to something, if I get in here and my shaft is too far out here, and I start early extending, now I'm back here, now I'm flipping, it gets really difficult to get into that position. So I have to make sure that the shaft is moving in a good direction. Once again, you'll see the link to the shallowing video. Go check that out. That will make sure there's no need for that early extension. So if you're trying to get rid of that ugly move where the pressure is just falling back through impact every time, learn how to move your pressure forward, take care of the shaft movement in the downswing, and get that nice finish every single time. If you are a player that struggles with that chicken wing, if you are a player that's fallen back, I hope this video helps you fix those issues once and for all. And if you're enjoying it, I hope to see you next week. Hey guys, if you like this video, please like and comment. I come out with new content every Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Thanks a lot, you guys.